Former Johannesburg Mayor Herman Mashaba launched his political party virtually today. Mashaba says the political party's main goal is to unseat what he's called criminal syndicates while assisting the vulnerable. Newzroom Afrika reporter Mbali Thethani joins us now in studio to unpack the launch. Mbali, we are seeing a new formation being formed by the former mayor of Johannesburg, Herman Mashaba, but it's coming under a new name. It's no longer the People's Dialogue. Tell us about that.
And of course, Nhlanhla, we've just seen Herman Mashaba launch officially his new party. It is now called Action South Africa. And I must say, when you look at it, Nhlanhla, it's got remnants of what the DA actually used to look like. And this is something that when he resigned as the mayor of Johannesburg, as well as he resigned from the DA, you know, these were certain things he highlighted on, saying that this is not the party that I formed, or this is not the party I was part of, and this is why now he has launched this new party. So you can see when I was watching, because it was a virtual launch, you had certain vox pops as well from various South Africans across the country. These were South Africans from different types of backgrounds, different types of races. It is a non-racial party. So this is something that he has a lot of focus on. But let's take a listen to what he had to say about the launch of his party, Nhlanhla.
As a people, we have traveled a long and difficult journey. After our painful and divided past, we emerged into the light of democracy with hopes and dreams and a belief in the prospect of building a new country. I remember a feeling of sense of pride when I could stand in a long queue with my diverse fellow South Africans to vote in 1994. I was finally a citizen in a country of my birth. I believe we'd see an explosion of opportunity as the shackles of our past had been broken by great men and women who had achieved the impossible in South Africa. But, like you, I came to see how our country fell into the hands of evil people, people who inflicted pain and suffering on the poor of our country through their greed and failure. 26 years into our democracy, South Africans are suffering. We suffer from the highest levels of inequality. We suffer from an economy that does not grow, leaving 10 million people unemployed and families destroyed by the stress of hunger. We suffer from levels of crime that leave law-abiding citizens living in fear, while criminals roam our streets with impunity. We suffer from an education system that grooms our young people for nothing better than unemployment.
Now, Mbali, as we can see in that clip, we see a very determined-looking Herman Mashaba. We know him to be a very opinionated person who speaks on issues ranging from immigration right through to how to stimulate South Africa's economy. What stood out? What issues stood out this time around during the virtual launch?
Well, of course, Nhlanhla, something that he spoke out a lot about in the DA and why he left were the issues around racism. We saw when Helen Zille was elected back into the leadership of the DA, well, he said that he will not be part of this new DA. So something that he completely highlighted in the beginning of his address was that there is no place for racism in this party. Another thing that you've highlighted on is the issues around immigration. We know that when he was part of the former party, this is something that he was often criticized on, and he's still firm, saying that they will not allow for illegal immigrants to enter South Africa. And so this is something that they've continued to highlight on, but saying at the same time that he is not xenophobic. But we know comments of that nature often lead to issues around xenophobic violence. We've seen South Africans time and time again calling him out for such comments, especially at a time where South Africa tries to fight this problem around xenophobia. Another huge factor that he focused on, Nhlanhla, was the issue around corruption. Let's take a listen to what he had to say when it comes to issues around corruption.
We suffer from a government that has taken us backwards, not forward, that loots the funds meant to deliver opportunity, dignity and services to the people of our country. We suffer greatly as a people. But, my fellow South Africans, if there's one thing I know about the people of this country, is that we are resilient. We have endured hardship and prevailed. We succeeded in spite of our government, not because of it. We believe even when there's little to believe in. And let me tell you today, we are the majority in our country. We are not the radicals who hate and sow divisions amongst us. We are not the criminals, the extremist, the corrupt, or the racist. We are the good, hardworking, law-abiding, family-oriented, and freedom-loving people of our beloved country. We are the South Africans who love our country, hate what has been done to it, but have given up on the political system because it does not give us cause for hope. We are the greater people of this country, the silent ones, the unseen and ignored. We are black, we are white, we are Indian, we are colored, we are young, we are old, we live in cities, we live in villages, we are heterosexuals, we are LGBTQIs, we are men, we are women, and all have had enough.
Now, Mbali, this is not the first time we hear Mashaba talking tough on corruption. We do know that he used the ticket as a champion against corruption, or saying that he'll be determined to eradicate corruption in the city of Johannesburg if he is elected mayor. Now that he's made plans to contest the 2021 municipal elections, has he led us into some of his plans?
Well, of course, one thing that also stood out in Ndandla is how he said that, well, they are not trying to be the opposition party. They are a government in waiting. And of course, we will see how this sort of party performs in the 2021 local government elections. It is something that we are really looking forward to. We know that a number of South Africans have been unhappy with the state of politics, with the state of our political parties in the country. So this is certainly something that a number of South Africans who want another option, they can certainly look into.
And as I look into the statement, the party's draft policies make no mention of the DA, but they clearly aimed to take and build on the Blue Machine's base.
And of course, like I say, that when you look at the image of the party, you can see that, well, this is... we've seen these sort of pictures before in the DA. He comes from a background where a number of South Africans know him from his work while in the DA. So, when you look at their values as well, these are some things that he stood for while he was part of the DA. And of course, when you come and you look at the issues around the issues of corruption, we know that he had that corruption unit in the city of Johannesburg. And this is something that he's highlighted, and he's told South Africans that, well, look, you've seen my work in the city of Johannesburg, in that investigative unit, and there's been a development this week in Ndandla where one case involving computers, there was finally an arrest in that regard. So when you look at that in Ndandla, we know that he's also somebody who comes from a business background. He's spoken boldly about his plans for the economy, his plans for small businesses, his plans for revitalizing the country's economy, as well as trying to create more jobs, especially jobs for the youth.
All right, well, thank you very much, Mbali Thethani. That's our reporter, Mbali Thethani, giving us more details about the launch of Herman Mashaba's new political formation. It's very interesting that he says that political parties' main goal is to unseat what he's called criminal syndicates while assisting the vulnerable.